Hey guys, what is going on? The objective of this video, straight up, the objective of this video is to try to communicate these 12 books I've read in the past couple months to you in 12 minutes. So each book I'm gonna try explaining in 1 minute as best as I can. I'm not gonna be like your 12th grade English teacher and talk about how the author used similes to find a metaphor or anything like that. I'm just gonna explain what I learned from the book and what you can learn from it too. I have Amazon links below or wherever you can buy it from. I'm not affiliated with them, just like I'm gonna link it below. Here we go. Usually on this channel, we talk about e-commerce, just like gold nuggets on how to improve your business, how my partner and I are currently scaling our B2C e-commerce brand, and etc. But this video I wanted to just switch it up a little bit and show y'all what I've read. There are a few other books that I've read that are just currently with friends that I've lent out and like we've switched and swapped, but that's okay. I'll also link those below in the description. And this is going to be in no order at all, but let's just jump right into it. So the first book is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I got some nice cool cover here, like some special edition, and literally this was the first ever book I read when I first got into entrepreneurship back in like early 2018. And so it just teaches you the principles of wealth and what people in the past, hundreds and hundreds of people in the past, have used to create wealth for themselves, the questions they've asked themselves, the rituals they've done to create success for themselves and practice success on a daily basis. And the one thing I can say that's like just the most influential from this book, for me at least, was the affirmations. And so they basically in a nutshell tell you that if you have a certain goal in mind, write down this little script, and every single morning and every single night just read it out loud to yourself, like read it loud and proud, and you'll meet that goal. And so this book really helped. It's from Napoleon Hill. It's a very, very baseline like entrepreneur book. Like if you are an entrepreneur, if you're in any kind of business, if you do anything like that's pretty much anything that makes money, you're gonna want to read this book. Again, guys, this is in no order, but here we go with book number 2. It's called 25 Hours a Day by Nick Bare. For those of you who don't know who Nick Bare is, he basically was someone that like served as, I'm not sure if it was a Navy SEAL. No, I think he was in the military for some years, and then as he exited the military, he started his own e-commerce company called BPN, Bare Performance Nutrition, where he's done all kinds of great numbers after tons of years of grinding. And so in this book, he discusses what he went through in the military, how it's trained him, how he trained himself to like stay hard, stay motivated, and just always go one more. That's his saying, go one more, to always go and just get what you want. It's just, you know, he was a very average guy growing up. There's not much to it, and he just shows you and me and everyone how you can take your idea and turn it into a passive business, no problem, if you have the patience. So check it out. Next one is an absolute game changer. Again, it's a very popular book. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. It's an absolute game changer. I've read it at least 3 times now. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I'm not sure if you guys can read it. I think this might be backwards, but How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, and it is literally game changing. It shows you the principles of how to get people to, how to win people to your way of thinking, how to win arguments. And a quick tip right here, you never win an argument by arguing, you win an argument by avoiding the argument, you know, saving the other person's face, etc., etc. It goes through all of this. It's game changing. If you are a manager, if you're in management, if you manage employees, if you have issues with like your spouse right now, or you're always having fights with your parents, or whatever the case may be, read this book. I paid like $22 for this, and it was game changing. I read it like at least 2-3 times a year. You need to get this book. It will teach you how to deal with people the right way. Scientifically proven too. It's not like this guy has theories out of his ass. You know, these are actually like real good. Another game changer here, another very popular book. Again, I don't believe in like reinventing the wheel or trying to find these hidden books. I just stick to the basics, stick to what like rich people have recommended to me. And this one's called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I've read this one a few times as well. And basically he covers the huge issue that today's society has with money and how they view money, how they use their money effectively. I mean, he covers how the different types, how income is different for if you're self-employed versus own a business, or you're an investor, or if you're just a straight employee, how your income's affected. They teach you the accounting basics, like all about income statements, balance sheets, the statement of cash flow, etc. If you manage money, if you are an entrepreneur, if you trade stocks, if you do anything and you're looking to increase your wealth, this is the book. I'm not selling these books, guys. This is the book. This really opened my eyes, especially the part where he said that your house is not an asset. It really spoke to me. On paper, it's an asset. The banks call it an asset, but essentially it's not, and I'm not going to explain why. Read this book and figure it out for yourself. It's game changing. Next one, real quick. I don't even need a minute for this one. I'm from Canada, so this is a Canadian guide to accounting. Read this thing 1 or 2 times just to benefit myself. If you have an accounting background, you're set for life in business. It's always going to help you out. But if you are a little bit rusty, don't know too much, just read a couple books. It's not hard, it's not expensive, and you just know the basics. You don't want to know every single damn thing about accounting, but just learn the basics. That's what this book did for me for like 15 bucks. Recommend it if you're from Canada at least. Now, I lost the actual cover for this, like the plastic cover that comes with this book, but if you can read that, which I doubt. It's called If You're Not First, You're Last by Mr. Grant Cardone. I've read this one just one time. He basically covers how if you are the best and if you are irreplaceable, you'll never have struggles in your life. So even if you're an employee at a company, if you are irreplaceable, if your skill set is so wide and so unique, you're not going to get fired when times get rough. You're going to be held on to. You're going to be viewed as a lot more valuable to a company. Or if you run your own company, he talks about how when times are bad, it's the best time to push through and just have and it aligns with this year because COVID-19 has really messed things up, and he basically discusses how now is the time to go hard. When everyone else is on defense, you got to go on offense and just execute. So Grant Cardone, I have a few of his books. This is one of them. This one's a little dusty to say the least. It's called Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi. Again, there's no cover because I don't like the covers. I think they're freaking annoying. But this is by Dean Graziosi, millionaire, great guy. I've read this one 1 or 2 times. He basically just covers I think it was the second book I ever read. He just covers the habits of rich people. Rich people generally have multiple flows of income. And that's what this book told me. This one actually really opened my eyes. It's called The Subtle Art. How do you pronounce that? The Subtle Something Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. I read this one 2 times. And again, have you ever, just to put it into perspective, have you ever, say you've had 2 school projects due? Or say you're launching 2 products for your new business. One you're really, really, really excited for and you're passionate about. One you're just like, meh, I'm doing it for fun, whatever. And then you realize a week later that the one that you launched for fun and didn't really care about is actually doing much better than the one you paid all that attention to. This book basically covers the science behind that. I can't even explain it with my own words, but I understand it, and that's all that matters. I understand it, but if you want to learn how it actually makes sense and how he argues that human beings are flawed and limited and not everyone can be extraordinary, there are winners and losers in society, and some of it's not even your fault. That's from the back of this book. I recommend this book. It's 20 bucks. That's where I got it from. It's very popular too. Try it out. Another game changer by someone who is very, very, very fluent in the science/psychology industry along with business and marketing. It's called PreSuasion. I have 2 books from this guy. His name is Robert Cialdini. I'm not good with names, but Robert Cialdini. I'll link it below. And he discusses how the things people witness right before they take an action can be huge. And so he goes over case studies of how, for example, a real estate agent built a very quick, simple line of trust between him and his clients before making the offer to them, and it increased his success so much. I can't explain it too much because I honestly can't put my tongue on it right now, and this can help a lot of social media advertisers. So if you run ads, for example, or if you're someone who is constantly closing on the phone, this discusses how the things that people experience before making a decision is crucial. So another example, if you have a website and they're about to buy something, and then you have that stupid pop-up that no one likes, that could actually affect them and make them leave, in case you didn't know that. I'm sure you did, but it's a very broad example. Hardest book out. Again, it's gonna do nothing but benefit you, I guarantee you. Another one, no cover here, but very popular book. It's called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. He talks about how not so much, when he says 4-hour workweek, I got this book thinking, okay, it definitely does not mean if you're a brand new entrepreneur with a brand new startup or new product, you should just work 4 hours a week. No, that's the opposite of what you should do. But once your company is at scale and it is growing, he argues that the whole objective is to exit the company. You should not want to be involved with the company every day doing all these tedious tasks. You should not really want that. You should want to be able to work a couple hours a week, only really handle the really important important things, and then just have people below you pretty much run the company for you. So basically, like, he teaches you how to half retire once you are past that phase of growth and you're doing millions of dollars a year. He talks about that. Really recommend this book for productivity increasing. One tip that he gave me that I love is that every single morning when I wake up, I ask myself, what's the one thing that I want to accomplish today? Like, what would that one thing be? And then I go do that thing right away, get it done. And then whatever else happens, if I don't get to it, whatever. At least I did that most important thing. That's what I learned from him. I'm not even sure what book number I'm on anymore, by the way, but this one I got recently. I still haven't read it. But again, it's called PreSuasion by Lee Hartley Carter. I'm probably going to read this one next after I finish my current one, which is I'm going to show you last. But again, just another persuasion book. If you are an entrepreneur, you have to be able to persuade. You have to have communication skills. If you are, say you're a successful entrepreneur who's growing a company at scale, but you're tight on cash and you need money, you go to a VC firm. Who likes going to the bank for a loan? I'm not a huge fan of it, sorry. I'd rather just go to a VC firm and get people with like actual real money to give me money. And so you have to be able to persuade them into your product. Mark Zuckerberg, when Facebook first started, they were doing so well. And I think over the summer of 19 or two, I honestly forget the year, but over one summer they raised like 500K of VC. And it just has to do with persuading, knowing exactly what your service is, what problem it solves, and how to actually communicate that to investors, employees, etc., and of course customers. Yeah. Another basic, the 10X rule by Grant Cardone. Read this thing. Basically, if you have a company that's doing, let's just say 30K a month in revenue, and you want to make that 300K a month in revenue, he basically teaches you how to do that. Wow, the book just fell. He basically teaches you how to do that, not with ease, but just like the right steps to take. He has all those like TEDx conferences as well. He just shows you how you can go from ground A to ground B, like very fast, how it's done. Not much needs to be changed. It's just about scaling, promoting. If you want to grow, you have to promote. And that doesn't always mean just running more Facebook ads. It means diversifying your platforms, your organic traffic, your email traffic, your word of mouth, of course, etc., etc. Give this a read. Really recommend. The one that I'm currently on now is called The Lean Startup. Game-changing book by Eric Ries, not too sure, it doesn't matter. But The Lean Startup just discusses how a huge reason why most startups fail isn't because their product is bad or they didn't or market properly. It's just that they didn't have the proper management in place. They weren't asking themselves the correct questions when first starting, and they were just making assumptions. People make assumptions about a problem when they're not even entirely sure if it actually exists. And so they could be 100% productive in their operations and create an amazing, whole operation system where things are being done every single day. But then when they launch and test, the results are terrible and there's no room for the product to even be sold in the market. He discusses how to prevent that from happening, and once you finally get into that testing phase, how to reevaluate, how to improve, so on. It's repetitive. Companies do it every single day, just like Apple. We're always seeing updates from Apple, for example. Really recommend this book, Lean Startup. Reading it right now. Maybe I'll share how I liked it at the end. I'm like halfway through, something like that. Yes. In case you were wondering, I really think it's necessary to mention this. The other book that I can actually remember I gave to my friend recently. It's called Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. I recently spoke about this book quickly in a video recently on his channel, but just to recap, the book by Gary V is incredibly game-changing. He basically explains to you how if you have a business or if you have a passion, you can turn that passion into a business easily if you put in the work. It does not cost a lot of money to do it. It just costs a lot of time. So if you're young like me and have a lot of time in your hands, there's basically no excuse for you to not be able to start a business and just scale up. I understand there might be issues with health or whatever. Of course, every case by case is different, but for the far majority of us, especially if you're working from home or whatnot, you have time to cash in on your passion. Just 1 hour a day of work can take you so far. And he goes through how to start a blog for your community, Twitter, whatever. And one thing that I really gained from him and what just opened my eyes was that I realized that every single time someone engages with my business on Instagram or Twitter or whatever it may be, that's an opportunity to make a sale. So if someone double taps one of our Instagram ads and they don't convert, because we can tell obviously, we can direct message them now and spark a conversation. Genuinely, we can say, hey, how's your day going? Have you heard of us before? We are growing, want to try us? Here's a quick discount code. And with just a quick chat and a 5% discount code, sometimes no discount code, just because they appreciate the generosity so much, they go back to your site, they convert, and they become repeat customers. They fall into this whole flow of email campaigns, text campaigns. They see our blogs in the emails, and who doesn't want to be a part of that? And we make our emails very personal. We address them by their first name all the time. First names are killer to say, and you'll also learn that in How to Win Friends and Influence People, like remembering people's first names and saying them in things like emails, speeches, like just when you're seeing someone for the first time in person at like a networking event is game changing. I promise you. I guess even ask yourself, when someone calls you by your name and remembers it, I'm sure you appreciate it more than someone who says, oh wait, what's your name again? I forget. I guarantee you. So try it out. And that pretty much wraps it up for this video. I'm not sure if I actually covered every single book in 1 minute, because this video is already like almost close to 16 minutes, but hey, whatever, you learned a thing or two for sure. I'm not saying buy all these books at once at least, but at least buy 1 or 2 or 3 of them. If you don't want to buy it from the links below, if I can link all of them, just go ahead and go to your local bookstore if they're open right now, and just literally, it doesn't have to be a huge process either. You don't have to read a book a week and be crazy like some, like a nerd. I just read 10 to 20 pages a day, before I sleep usually, and that's about it. And all those things just stay in my mind. I usually go to sleep just thinking about what I read, and just stays in my mind. And then I can use what I learned. Like say for example, I read about something and then I experience it a week later. I can relate back to that book, and it just makes so much sense to me. I don't know if that makes sense, but I read something, it stays in my mind, and then I experience it happening with my business or with a interaction with a person, and it just makes so much sense to me. It relates back to me, and it's basically gaining an experience you never would have gained physically. So why not just read? If you don't like reading, you can use Audible or whatever. I'm just a fan of straight books personally, for now at least. Who knows how that will happen. I also like podcasts a lot, but that pretty much wraps it up for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a thumbs up, because we are trying to boost ourselves on this YouTube channel. We are trying to post very exclusive content to benefit you as an entrepreneur, as someone who wants to start making more money and create wealth. We are trying to document the process of how we are building our brand, our e-commerce brand, very accurately as we can. So there's more to come for that. So make sure you're subscribed. Also, just one last thing, fam. If you're trying to join, if you want to be in a community of people that just talk about e-commerce and overall wealth creation, we do have a Discord server. Not gonna lie, in the past couple of days or weeks, it's been a little bit more dead than usual. So we need some new blood in there. So if you are talkative, if you're somewhat extroverted, there's a Discord link in the description below. Feel free to join. It's free. Chat it up. Don't be a dick, or I actually will ban you. I couldn't care less. But I'm sure most of you guys are great guys. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.